What's up? Colby Sharp, 5th grade teacher in Michigan. Welcome to my channel where we try to help kids fall in love with reading. Today we're going to be talking about 10 amazing 2023 books for kids that you need to add to your to-read list. I have all of these books on my list of awesome 2023 books. I'll put the link in the description, how you can visit that page. I'll update it throughout the year. 2023 is going to be an amazing year for kids. In this video, we're going to talk about books from picture books, middle grade, graphic novels, all the way up to a young adult graphic novel that you must read. Holy smokes, let's get into it. First up, big, Vashti Harrison. If you read one picture book this year, this is the picture book that you need to read, that you need to share with kids, that you need to share with people. It's about this amazing girl who is complimented. Oh, she's so big and cute for being like big and cute and adorable. But as she gets a little bit older, being big isn't such a great thing. People start to be mean to her. There's a situation at a swing, something happens to her. Her heart is broken. People just continue to be unkind to her based on her size. And the more they do it, she just feels like there's something wrong with her. It's an amazing book. It's not just about her not being big. It's not just about people telling her that she should be a certain way. It's about her figuring out who she is and kind of standing up to people being jerks and being awful to her. And there's a scene in this book where she takes the words that people have said to her and does something with them that will just melt your teacher heart. It will be a moment in your classroom or your library or snuggled up with someone reading this book that will change someone forever. It's magical. I read it to my 5th graders. Holy smokes. One of the most important books of the year. It's going to be on all the Mott Caldecott lists. It's going to be maybe even on some Newbery list. Big. Don't miss out on the opportunity to read this book as soon as possible. Next up is a nonfiction picture book. Yeah, we read a little nonfiction here. Not enough. But this one, got a chance to read Whale Fall, Exploring an Ocean Floor Ecosystem. Rob Dunleavy did the illustrations. Melissa Stewart, who we have come to just love and adore her expertise when it comes to nonfiction, wrote this book. It's phenomenal. I had never thought what happens when a 70-ton whale dies in the ocean and floats to the ocean floor. Never thought about it, but I can't stop thinking about it after reading this book. It ends up becoming an ecosystem for decades, for millions of organisms. My mind is blown. I want to give this to every science teacher that ever taught me, every biologist on the planet, everyone who loves figuring out how things work, especially kids, because no one's more curious about the world than kids. Whale Fall, holy smokes, check it out. It's absolutely stunning. Holy smokes. Next up is a picture book by Corey Dorfeld, who brought us The Rabbit Listened. And this book, Beneath, is equally important and magical when understanding ourselves and figuring out who we are and learning about our feelings and not having to run away from them. This main character here is having a tough day. Grandpa comes in. It's like, you want to go for a walk and you want to talk about it. And kid's like, nah, I don't. Grandpa's like, let's go for a walk. Talks the kid into going for a walk, and they have the most magnificent conversation. The grandpa talks about how we don't see all the things that are going on underneath the earth, underneath like the ground or underneath the water, and you kind of relate those to what's going on in your heart, what's beneath the surface, and what people don't see. Holy smokes, it's filled with excellence and conversation starters and magic. I could not believe that she's done it again. The Rabbit Listened has been one of the most magical books to share with kids, and she's done it again with Beneath. Everyone's going to read this book to kids this year. You might as well just buy it now and read it to kids. Not that you need to be like everybody else, but holy smokes, this book is dynamite. Let's go. Beneath. Check it out. You won't regret it. Next up, this is a story by my friends. So, disclaimer, I'm good friends with John Shue, the author, and Caldecott Honor winner Lord Garcia. I'm good friends. Also, I wrote the educator guide for this book for Candlewick. So I've read this book like 60 times. Well, I would have read it a bunch of times anyway because I just love it with all of my heart. Like, seriously. Seriously. It's all about a story and connecting each other with books. It's just magical. I won't show you anything else because you just need to read this book. And you just want to hold it. You want to hug it. You want to take it with you. Something will happen in someone's life and you'll be like, I need to give them this book. I don't even know what's going to be. My cat is bugging me here. Sorry. But you don't want to read this book. You want to share it with kids. You want to share it with adults. You want to share it with anyone who loves reading as much as you. Because isn't that what we want to do? We want other people to love reading and books as much as us. And this is that book. It's so beautiful. This is a story. Check it out. Remember, all these books are in my list of awesome 2023 books. You can find that in the link in the description below. We're going to move into what do you want to do next? We did picture books. How about we do graphic novels? Graphic novels, always super popular. I have 2 middle grade graphic novels. First up is Matt Tavares' Hoops. It's based on a true story. It's fiction, but it's based on a true story of a high school girls basketball team in Illinois who, when women were allowed to play basketball, like real full court back and forth basketball, school wasn't real cool with it. They had to like make their own jerseys and tape, I shouldn't laugh, and like tape numbers on it. But they had this girl who was so stinking good and they ended up becoming really great. They talked to athletic directors, like, can we play in the gym where the boys play? This is a rocking Indiana high school basketball. And it's like, you can fill this gym and you can play there. And guess what? Well, gotta read the book to find out. Not to spoil anything, this book, based on true story, and I say this every time I talk about this book, so if you've heard me talk about this book, sorry, I hope it's not getting old. My gym teacher, where I teach right now, one of my best friends at school, he grew up in this town. He remembers this story. He was at the game. He was at the game. I should have showed you inside. But I know you got kids who love sports and all that. I love sports and all that. So I have an advanced copy, so it's not full color. So you probably don't really get to see all the dynamite illustrations that are in it. But you can kind of see the style here. I don't know if there's like an illustration. Sometimes they put like one colored picture in these advanced copies. I'm not seeing it. It's so good. You want to read it. You got kids who love sports. They need this book. It's phenomenal. Hoops. So good. All right, next up is a book that I had not heard of. I just got in a box from Scholastic. I'm like, well, that looks cool. It's called Parachute Kids. Can 3 Siblings Make It in America on Their Own? It's by Betty C. Tang. And so these kids living in Taiwan, and they come to the United States to visit. Little do they know, they're actually moving here. And then what's wild is their parents have to go back to Taiwan, like passports and visa stuff that I like the kids didn't really know what was going on until their parents could come back. So they have to like live here, but their parents aren't, and they're not like living with grandma, grandpa, or uncle. Like they're like basically like kind of living on their own and having to like buy groceries and take care of things. It's wild. But here's what blew my mind the most. And make sure you encourage kids to do this. Read the author's note, because Betty was a parachute kid. Holy smokes, like this stuff happens and happened. It's probably happening. Oh, it's so good. I loved it. I couldn't get enough. These kids are all so unique and fascinating. And they obviously aren't getting together, getting along the best. They don't know how to speak the language. The culture's shocking to them. It's so good. It's so fascinating. Parachute Kids, check it out. Okay, those are my 2 graphic novels. Now we're going to move to some middle grade fiction. We have a middle grade novel, Tori Maldonado's book, Hands. Look at this. It's like 130 pages of gold. He can tell this amazing story about this kid named Trav who's very stressed out because his stepdad is getting released from being incarcerated. And before he went into incarceration, he threatened his mother. And so Trav is like, I got to learn how to fight so I can protect my mom. But like his father was kind of involved in the fight game. So they're like they all know his like biological dad. So they're all like, we're not letting you in. We promised your dad we wouldn't let you box. And he's like this really great artist. So it's like, how does he use his hands? Oh, it's so good. And can you believe, look at how many pages he did it in. I think Pernille Rip is going to consider this one this is just not, I don't have any inside information, but I think Pernille Rip really loved this book, and she does the global read aloud. I think this would make a great selection for the global read aloud. Look at that. Just read it, so much to talk about. I actually think this would also make another great selection for the Global Read Aloud Perennial. If you're listening, I'm sure that you agree. Jared Lerner's A Work in Progress is an illustrated novel in verse about a boy named Nick Fisher, I believe Nick Fisher, who gets told by a classmate that he's fat. And his weight begins to define him and affect him in everything. There is a girl that he likes. But this is one of those books that you just can't put down. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. And the topic and the story is one that I think Jared asked me for like a couple sentences about the book, the author, and what I had to say about it. And I said, something to the effect of, I can't think of any kid that I've taught in my 15 plus year teaching career that would not find something for them in this book. I think this is truly a book for everyone. I think it's a magical book. I think it's a life-changing book. I think that classrooms will be reading it aloud for, can I say decades? I think it's that important and that timeless and that magical. So check out A Work in Progress. It's phenomenal. Okay, 2 more books. Thank you for sticking around so long. There's the cat that was bothering me earlier. Brian Selznick, Hugo, Wonderstruck, Caldecott medalist. The Big Tree. It's about these seeds, these 2 little seeds, but they're like characters and they're like alive and they think and talk to each other. And there's a fire and there's dinosaurs and meteors and volcano eruption. The story takes place over an extremely long period of time. It's about these trees just trying to fulfill their life's mission. I don't know how he does it, but it's one of, if you've read his books, you know that we go from like this to this, and it's just so, there's like time where they're like stuck in like I feel like if I remember correctly, it's like a puddle or like a footprint, and they're like hanging on. How does he do it? I don't know how he did it, but it's phenomenal. I'm gonna have to read this one again because it just like my mind couldn't even comprehend the brilliance that it took to create something like this. Big Tree, check it out. It looks like really big, and it is. It's heavy, but it's like the illustration text goes back and forth. So good. All right, finally, the end. The one young adult graphic novel that I want to talk about. It says it's for 12 and up, 7th grade and up. Yeah, that sounds right. There are probably 6th and 5th graders that could read this book, though, to be honest. Yeah, but read it first, right? Because, when you see a book that says 7th and up and you teach 3rd or 4th, 5th grade like I do, you should read it first. But it's another memoir from Jared Krasowska. We read Hey Kiddo, National Book Award finalist, all kinds of awards. So good. Sunshine, it's as good, if not better. Not that it's a contest. It's not a contest. It's just, so let's just say it's phenomenal. It's about Jared going to this camp as a high schooler. He's selected with some other kids, and they go there, and it's a camp with kids who are very, very ill, like super sick. And they just try to give them an awesome experience. And their families come too to like give them like a more kind of normal experience and do the camp thing. But the relationships that Jared develops, what Jared learns about himself, what the other kids learn from Jared, I just feel like, wow, the world is a better place because of this. I am a better person because of this book. My mind can't stop thinking, and imagine what this book is going to do to the young adults, the middle schoolers, the upper elementary kids in the world. It just makes me really happy and thankful and hopeful. And what more can you ask for in a book? Sunshine does all of that and so much more. Friends, I hope you found something in my list of awesome 2023 books, 10 amazing books that you need to add to your to-read list. I can't wait to know which ones you love, which ones you try, what's on your list of awesome books of 2023. Remember, the link to my list is in the description. Thanks again for tuning in. My name is Colby Sharp. I hope you have an awesome-tastic day.